Alrighty, welcome everybody. We're gonna do something a little bit different today, again. Recently someone in my comment section by the name of Cameo suggested playing Knights Templar, but kind of foregoing the Pilgrims entirely. And I found this quite intriguing because it always kind of irked me that for Knights Templar you have to kind of slow down your own villager production because, you know, you want to go to the next age or, you know, get the Pilgrim upgrade. And yeah, what if you just kind of at least skip the part with the Pilgrims? Could you get like, you know, just save the resources that the Pilgrim upgrade costs, save the time that you need to invest to go for Pilgrims, and instead just play regular AoE pretty much without it? And I don't know, intuitively I wanted to know if this works. So I just kind of tried it for 5 games, and we are now watching a screen recording of one of those games. I'm not actually playing right now, even if it looks like it. And yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about Pilgrims in general. This is a relatively short game played, as you can see, against BitCousin. And it did not go well. If you don't know who BitCousin is a Conqueror 3 player and also the Twitch streamer. This game is kind of doomed, but it was kind of funny to me how hard I got owned here, so we're just gonna watch that for a bit. But like what I actually wanted to take is just this background footage and talk about Pilgrims in general, because as I said, intuitively I thought this would be possible, specifically going Fast Castle. I have a lot of experience going Fast Castle because I play a whole bunch of Japan, and Japan, generally speaking, you know, is a Fast Castle Civ. So I kind of thought if I just plug out all the stuff that makes Japan Japan and put in the Knights Templar equivalent, surely this works, right? And, well, on the whole, I think that turned out not to be true. I have to be honest here. I really wanted this to work. I wanted to, you know, find a cool, interesting way to play Knights Templar, but yeah, this did not happen. As we see here, look, I won a micro wall against a Conqueror 3 player there. That villager lives. Haha, I'm good. Not Diamond 2 at all. Yeah. On the whole, it turned out like the no Pilgrim advantage wasn't very big. Because, I don't know. So the thing is that one of the other problems was why I kept running out of food around the time I hit Castle Age. In this game I tried to fix that by going Harbor. That has actually worked for me other times, honestly. Opening Harbor on Relic River is really strong for Knights Templar. I really like it, I highly recommend it. You have great food eco, and you know, just using the extra space from like it gives you by having food income from fish is great. And you can very easily, you know, get the extra wood for the boats. It's very helpful. Specifically with Fast Castle, well, but also like in general. Now, another reason why I think Fast Castle is not that great with Knights Templar is that, like, Japan has the ability to go for, you know, their version of wheelbarrow. And that gives them a lot of bonus for the berry gathering. And the berry gathering is, like, very sped up by 25%, I think. And with that, just one very cheap upgrade, you can soak up a lot of food from your berries quickly early on. That way you don't run out of food as quickly as like a Knights Templar player would. Or the Knights Templar players will also go for berries, but you going for berries without any like gather speed upgrade that, you know, the Japan player has. So that's why you kind of need that extra, you know, deer or harbor to get for fish or something. Other issues I ran into with Fast Castle was without the Yoroshiros you can't boost your production as quickly once you do hit Castle Age, so you need more production buildings, which takes extra time and extra resources. There's no immediate bonus from hitting the Castle Age like you have with Japan and the floating gate. So, I don't know, I'll have to work on it. Now, why did I think about Fast Castle at all was when I'm not going Pilgrims, you can kind of like let go of any map control you would want to have in Feudal Age, right? you're not sending out any pilgrims, so you don't need to go on the map. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just stay home, go castle, and then win from there. But again, this like no food thing kept then being a problem. I just couldn't make it work really. Because, you know, here we see me wandering out onto the map and having to take deer. So I do kinda have to get at least that much map control. Because else it's not gonna work. You just sit in your base in Castle Age with no resources left over. In this case I have actually quite a few units, because we're like doing this Dark Age shuffle. But as you can see, I'm already being out macroed there by not producing consistently. I'm now overcommitting on gold. Yeah. The other thing I only found out after I had played a bunch of games, because I get curious. I hadn't actually ever before looked at the complete numbers of like what are pilgrims, what do they do, how much do they do, you know, do they know things? Let's find out. So after I played these games, I kind of just went into a game and sort of did the math. How much gold does a villager produce? And how many villagers do you actually sacrifice by going for pilgrims? And to my surprise, and this really shouldn't have surprised me what it did, the first upgrades for pilgrim only takes 10 seconds, meaning you only lose half a villager's worth of production time. Most of the production time for villagers you lose is from aging up, not from going pilgrims. Now, they still cost, you know, 200 food and 100 wood, which is quite a lot. But, yeah. It's... Okay, the other number I'm going to look at, I would suggest you look at for pilgrims, and like judging their worth is how much gold does a single villager produce when mining gold, right? If nothing's blocking them and they can just very quickly drop off the wood, a normal villager has about, I think, 37, I'm going to put the numbers on the screen, but from memory I think it's 37 gold per minute. And that's kinda not a lot compared to a pilgrim, right? A maximum range pilgrim can go for 130 gold. And they spawn every minute. It might take a while until they reach the sacred site, but once the, you know, the rhythm of them coming there is up, that's basically 130 gold per minute. That's basically like more than 3 villagers worth of gold if the villagers don't have any upgrades. Meaning you invest half a villager's worth of production time in order to get 3.5 villagers worth of gold. That's a lot. That's a big eco boost. It's still like you have to invest the 200 food and 100 wood for it, but still. I think you're foregoing just so much there. The number goes down a little bit if you upgrade the, you know, get the first upgrade for villagers, like the gold gathering thing. Which, you know, you still end up with like 2.5 or something villagers you gain by by going pilgrims essentially. They only produce gold, you know, less flexible than villagers, but still it's a big eco advantage. Specifically with Knights Templar, you always want to have gold anyway, so I think making pilgrims so powerful as it is in this game kinda means you have to go pilgrims, or else you're just leaving so much value on the table. And if you have to go pilgrims, you kinda have to play feudal. Like, your opponent might ignore you. In that case, okay, you're fine. You can go fast castle and not go for any units, then just go straight fast castle and go pilgrims anyway, because your opponent is ignoring you. You could also forego the pilgrims there, but there's no advantage to foregoing the pilgrims, right? You want to have gold if you're going fast castle, so why not get the gold through pilgrims? If your opponent's not contesting feudal, you can just let the pilgrims wander around and go for fast castle. Now, the investment into pilgrims doesn't pay off right away, so there's a bit of a slowdown for the fast castle. I did test this in game, where basically I played one game from basically the same seed, same starting resources and everything from a normal game, to see how fast can I hit fast castle, and I hit the castle age without any pilgrims in I think like 6 minutes 35 seconds. Then I did the same, but I went for 1 pilgrim, and then I did it again with 2 pilgrims. And it turned out, I'm again putting the numbers on the screen here for those who are curious about more exact numbers. This was just one trial, so maybe you can get faster numbers there. But the point is that about each pilgrim added like between 20 and 25 seconds of delay for Castle Age. Which is not nothing, but it's also not that much, because if you think about it, you just get to keep the pilgrims. Like, the pilgrims will still be useful to you after you hit Castle Age. So, you know, just go on pilgrims, and using the extra gold is again just so easy money that you kinda don't want to skip out on it. Yeah, so on the whole, I started this out thinking, hey, maybe you can get an advantage from not going pilgrims, but like, if I had just done the numbers of, you know, how much gold does a villager produce, how much gold do I lose by not going pilgrims, and just looking at those numbers, I come to the conclusion, I think you're kind of forced to go pilgrims. Or else you're not like, you're losing so much value, even if you're going fast castle. I don't know. Maybe there's something I overlooked, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting conclusion, because I always thought when playing against Knights Templar, hey, it's kinda nice to, you know, deny pilgrims here and there, but I didn't think it would be this big of a difference as I've now seen from these games, and having done the math on it. Basically, if you kill a pilgrim, you have forced 3.5 villagers to idle for 1 minute. Like, you haven't killed any villagers, the new pilgrims are gonna spawn anyway, but like, if a pilgrim represents 3.5 villagers gathering gold consistently, that means killing pilgrims consistently is like killing 3.5 villagers. If you, like, for that period of time, your opponent loses out on 3.5 villagers worth of gold. And like, it's super easy. Like, how many times have you like caught 3-4 pilgrims at the same time? Like, that's kind of the big thing, I think. Pilgrims are like a bigger deal than I thought, is the lesson that I learned here. Maybe everybody already knew that, but I actually had to test it and look at the numbers myself to find this out. And maybe this video was just for me, but maybe there's also some other people out there who are just going pilgrims because that's just what you do, without really knowing how valuable are they and how valuable is it to deny them for an opponent. Yeah, in the end, you end up playing feudal a lot with Knights Templar, I think is the reason. That's simply because of pilgrims. They're an eco advantage if left alone, so your opponent will not want to leave you alone. And if your opponent doesn't want to leave you alone, well then you're gonna have to take the fight in feudal to make the pilgrims work. There's not a lot of eco advantages other than that. You do get the increased speed of gathering wood and the bonus food from gathering wood, but other than that, it's not very much. You don't need that much wood, so there's not that many advantages, I think. Maybe I've overlooked any? Like, feel free to correct me in the comments. But I think, yeah, in the end, again, thanks and shout out to Cameo for suggesting this. I got curious about this and I learned ultimately a lot about this game, like about Knights Templar in general, because of this. I wouldn't have done the numbers on Pilgrims if it wasn't for your comments, so thank you. But yeah, I'm afraid my conclusion is I have to disagree. Pilgrims are necessary, and thereby Sacred Site Control is necessary to play like Knights Templar to their maximum potential. But yeah, that's my thesis. I thank you all for watching, and yeah, I'm gonna play some more games, but with Pilgrims this time. And until then, see you around. Bye bye.